The Joe Rogan Experience.
There's a real thought, and this is something that Terence McKenna described way back in the late 90s, early 2000s. He believed that you're going to be able to recreate a lot of psychedelic states through virtual reality, so that people that don't want to actually do a drug will be able to experience what it's like to be on that drug. Yeah. And that, I mean, it's very theoretical and hypothetical, and it's, you know, who knows whether or not that's possible. But that could be one other way that human beings interface with technology.
So humans, in my view, are far more hackable than we think. That there are so many that we just imagine our biology as being fixed, but our biology is really variable. Like I have a friend who's an anesthesiologist at Stanford, and she's done this experimentation of just running just like very mild electric currents through people's brains, and people have these very real experiences. And whether it's arousal or something, that you're entering people's minds through different ways. So you talk about virtual reality. I mean, we are entering a world where the pixelation of virtual reality will be equal to life, and so you're going to be in this VR space, and it will look, it may smell, it could even with haptic suits, it may feel just like life. Yeah. And our brains, I don't know if you've done these things with these VR glasses where you go and you can see people. You're just like in a hall, and you put on the glasses, and now you're in an elevator going to the top on the outside, like a window cleaner's elevator, to the top of this high rise. And there's a little rickety board, and then there's this cat at the end of the board, and they're saying, "Yeah, you have to go save the cat." And you've already seen that you're just in a hall. You know it in your brain. There's this cat, everybody's looking at you, and you've seen all these other people panic. And you think, well, when I'm there, I'm just going to go grab that cat. And you're terrified. Like you're trying to override your lizard brain, and your lizard brain's saying like, no, don't step off this cliff.
They have that for our HTC Vive.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to set that up, Jamie. We need a 2x4 that we put on the ground for
it's incredible. And so I think that this whole concept of reality is like that our technology is going to be changing our sense of reality. And then what's real? Like if you feel arousal in your brain because of an electric current, or you feel it because you're with your girlfriend or wife or reading a magazine or whatever, is that different? Is one real and one not real? I mean, I think that there's real big issues here.
Yeah, I mean, that is the Matrix, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the idea that, and if it feels better and it's more enjoyable than real life, what is going to stop people from doing the Ray Kurzweil deal and downloading yourself into this dimension?
Well,
not much.
Whether it's possible to do a full download or not, I mean, I think that's an open question. But whether people are going to be more comfortable living in these alternative worlds, and whether we're going to be able to say, oh no, that is the fake world. Like if you're in this virtual world, but you have friends in that world, you're interacting in that world, you have experiences that feel every bit as real in that world as in our world. And people say, oh no, that's not real. Those aren't your friends. Like even now, like, you know, people with global lives, you kind of have these friends. Like I have a good friend in Mongolia. We talk all the time.
Do you ever see them in person?
Once in a while, like once every year or two. It's great to see them.
Well, that's a real person, though.
No, it's a real.
But that's someone you actually know.
This isn't like a pen. No, it's a good friend.
I mean that. I mean, you actually do know them.
No, absolutely.
But if it was someone that you only talked to online and they lived in Mongolia, that's where things get weird.
It's true, but let's just say, following that hypothetical, you have that person. They're part of your whole life, and they're with you. They're with you through your life experiences. You call them up when you're sad. Like, is it so essential that you've met that person physically? Like, is that the core of what it means to be someone's friend? That it's
not essential, but it means a lot.
It does, and so I do. I mean, because we are not like we are these physical beings. And we are these virtual beings, but figuring out what's the balance is going to be really tricky.
Yeah, what is the balance? Like I'm worried about augmented reality too. Because when you see people that use Snapchat filters and they give themselves dog ears and stuff like that, like how long before that is just something that people choose to turn on or turn off about life itself.
Yeah.
Like you'll be able to see the world through different lenses. The sky could be a different color.
Yeah,
The plants could be a different color.
Yeah. I write about this in one of my novels, Eternal Sonata, where I think we're just going to have these contact lenses. And it'll be different kinds of information based on what people want. I mean, like I'll meet with you, and it'll say, "All right, this is Joe. Here's a little bit of background, whatever," and we'll have useful information. Or you're walking around a city, and you'll get little alerts of things that you might do or history.
Right.
And so I think
that's what they were thinking about with Google Glasses, right?
Yeah, well, I know, but it just was so annoying that people wanted to kill people.
It was just too weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just too. Everybody felt like they were getting filmed too.
They were.
Yeah, I mean, when you're walking around with Google Glasses on, you assume that people were recording everything. It was very strange.
They were, but I think that's another thing that we're just all of our lives are going to be recorded.
Of course.
Yeah.
Now, do you think that that's going to come in the form of a contact lens, or do you think it's going to come in the form of like ski goggles that you're going to put on and see the world?
Nobody wants to look like an idiot, and so in the beginning,
that's not true.
No, but in the beginning, all these you talked about Michael Douglas with his, or like my favorite one is Kurt Russell in Escape from New York.
What do you have there?
He has it's like this really cool tech. Like he finally gets out of this Manhattan hell, and he's got this phone, and it's like this big, and it's
so
like
that's
Mr.
pre-cell phone.
It's pre. It's like very very early days, and so now we have these kind of glasses, and there's like a little bit of cachet. But
Palm has a cell phone that's that big. Have you seen that?
No.
I was at the Verizon store.
Yeah.
I think it's like an attachment or an accessory to a phone.
Yeah, it's like you can bring it with you
nice
and
intervention.
not bring your other phone. That's the idea behind it.
Yeah.
So like you could decide, well, I'm going out. Let me just bring my tiny phone for essentials.
But all this tiny, I mean, the phones are going to get, quote unquote, phones are just going to get so small. That's why I say they're going to come inside of us. You'll have like a little contact lens, maybe a little thing in your ear, maybe like a little permanent implant in behind your tooth.
Or one of your teeth. They'll replace a tooth with a computer.
Yeah,
pipe it right into your nerves.
Any kind of crazy stuff you can think about, it's probably going to happen. And some of it will take, some of it won't. But
right. Yeah, it seems like that's what we're going to have to see, like how it plays out.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things when you were talking about scientists that are working on these things, they're working on what's right in front of them. They're not looking at the greater landscape itself in terms of like what the future holds.
It's not their job, and that's why we need other people. And I certainly see myself.
Who are those people? And who else? Who would you elect if Trump came to you and said, Jamie, we've got problems. Well, we need to figure out the future. What should we do? So,
well, certainly, I mean, we need to have a mix of different kinds of people. And so certainly people like me who are kind of big picture futurists, we need that. We need scientists. I work with some really incredible scientists. I did an event at Harvard last week with George Church, who's kind of like the living Charles Darwin. David Sinclair, who has been on this program, is a friend of mine working on life extension. And we need people just from all backgrounds. And so like I would say, like we need poor people, we need people from developing world, we need all kinds of people. But in terms of the people who are kind of articulating the big picture of the world and what are the challenges that we're facing, I certainly put myself in that category. People like Yuval Noah Harari, who are just kind of big, also kind of big thinkers, people like Sid Mukherjee. And I just think we have to articulate the big picture, and we have to do it in a way so that people can see themselves in this story and then enter into the conversation.